Fables of La Fontaine. Death and the Dying Man. Death never yet surprised the sage, who's always ready for the stage, knowing each hour that comes may be his passage to eternity. Death's rule embraces every day, each moment is beneath his sway. We all pay tribute to that Lord, we all bow down beneath his sword. The instant the king's child has birth and looks forth on this desert earth, that instant death may it surprise and close its scarcely opened eyes. Beauty, youth, virtue, every day death steals so ruthlessly away. One day the world will be his prey. This knowledge is most largely shared, for no event we're less prepared. A dying man, a century old, complained to death that he was told too suddenly before his will was made. He'd duties to fulfill. Now, is it just? This was his cry, to call me unprepared to die? No, wait a moment, pray, sir, do. My wife would wish to join me too. For still one nephew I'd provide, and I have causes to decide. I must enlarge my house, you know. Don't be so pressing, pray, sir, go. Old man, said Death, for once be wise, my visit can be no surprise. What, I impatient? In the throng of Paris, who has lived so long? Find me in all France even 10. I should have warned you, you say then? And so your will you would have made, your grandson settled, your basement laid? What, not a warning? When your feet can scarcely move, and fast retreat your memory makes, when half your mind and wit is left a league behind? When nearly all fails, no more hearing, no taste, all fading as I'm faring. The star of day shines now in vain for you. Why sigh to view again the pleasures out of reach? Just see your comrades drop continually, dead, dying. Is no warning there? I put it to you, is this fair? Come, come, old man, what, wrangling still? No matter, you must leave your will. The great republic cares not, sir, for one or no executor. And Death was right. Old men at least should die as people leave a feast, thanking their host, their luggage trim. Death will not stay to please their whim. You murmur, dotard, look and sigh, to see the young that daily die. Walk to the grave or run, a name to win of everlasting fame. Death glorious may be, yet how sure, and sometimes cruel to endure. In vain I preach, with foolish zeal, those most akin to death but feel the most regret in quitting life, and creep reluctant from the strife. Well, there you have it. So what's this all about? Death and the Dying Man. Well, he starts with a little poem that says, the sage, or the wise man, is always ready. He never knows when he may die, so he's always prepared. This reminds me of a samurai saying, I don't know if it's true, but I've read it in a book on samurais, that their morning prayer would be, today is a good day to die. And what they meant by this was, they've trained their whole life. They're always ready. They're always prepared. They've done everything they can. Everything they do their best at. All their T's are crossed. All their I's are dotted. Every day, they've done everything they could do. to their utmost. So, if they die, this is as good a day to die as any. Another idea, you could say life philosophy, that I've heard is think of yourself at 80, 90, or in this case, this man was a century old, 100 years old. Think of yourself at 100 years old if you're blessed to live that long. And what kind of person do you want to be? On your deathbed, do you want to lie there satisfied and happy that you've done your best? I mean, sure, you may be a failure through bad luck or no fault of your own, but if you've done everything to the best of your ability and with the best information you had at the time, even if you failed, you know you've done the best you possibly could. Some people are lucky. They fluke through life, half-assing it, not doing their best, and they still become great successes. And on the other side of the coin, some people try their best and have success and lose it all and always strive and always do their best, and through bad luck or enemies or whatever, jealousy and things like that, all their efforts are in vain and they're rank failures. But they know they've done their best. They know that if they had the time and the chance to do it again, they wouldn't change anything except for factoring in new information. But if you do the best you can with the information you have and the opportunities you have, that's all you can hope for. And most of the time, if you follow the correct pattern, you're going to be a success. So if you think of yourself as an old person about to die, do you want to be surrounded by friends and family? Do you want to have wonderful memories and health, the best type of health you could have had throughout your life, and the best physique and the best mind, the best education, clearest thoughts? So then you reverse engineer that. How do you get there? Well, if you want to have a loving family and if you want to have a loving spouse, then you have to back engineer that as well. How do you get that? What do? You honest, are you loyal, things like that. Find the right person. Don't pick the wrong person. Don't settle for a bad match for you. If you want happy, loving children and grandchildren and even great-grandchildren, how do you do that? Well, you have to parent them correctly. You have to be a correct grandparent. You have to back engineer everything. If you want money and ease in your old age, well, you have to prepare for your future. You have to save for the future. You have to put away. You have to invest. You have to make sure you get a good job, a good paying job. If your education is useless and you have a useless degree that just brings you student loans that you can't pay off, you can educate yourself with useless courses all you want. You can study all kinds of things that are very useful in life, but they're not very useful for getting a job. For instance, if you study one of the STEM fields, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, medicine, things like that, you're going to have a good well-paying job. But of course, you have to find something you're interested in. You can study things that will get you a good job. Now, does that mean you shouldn't study philosophy? Of course not. But a lot of philosophy you can study on your own. A lot of the social sciences you can study on your own. You don't have to pay somebody. You don't have to get a degree in these things if they're not going to lead to a good career. Your education doesn't end when you leave school. Do I think studying economics is a wonderful thing? Of course. You study all of these important subjects, study music, study all of these things will develop the faculties of your mind. You have several faculties in your mind to develop, memory being one of them, things like that. These are important things that will help you throughout life. Logic, reason. Study philosophy, of course. people laugh. Oh, you have a degree in philosophy. What did that ever give you? Well, in my case, I've traveled the world. I've been to many, many countries. I've used my philosophy degree to accumulate great wealth. Yes, I've lost my wealth, but that was my area of interest. So be always ready. Back engineer the type of life you want and plan. Make a plan, stick with the plan. So, saying, keep your body strong, keep your mind strong. Study martial arts, study boxing, study wrestling, and then study first aid. Learn things. You can't learn first aid when there's somebody lying on the ground bleeding. It has to be done before. You have to be prepared, always prepared. Study your martial arts, keep it sharp, sharpen your sword. You never know, you may never have to use self-defense, but if you do, make sure that you're always ready. Make sure you're healthy. If you have to run, if somebody tries to attack you and all you can do is run away, or if that's your best option, well, if you're 350 pounds out of shape, you're not going to be able to run. Keep your body healthy, keep your mind healthy, learn useful arts. I find martial arts to be the best way to get in shape because you actually get a wonderful 2-for-1. Yes, you get wonderful fitness, but you also get the ability to defend yourself. But with martial arts, you have to have the proper mindset as well. There's no sense just learning cardio kickboxing while your mind is wandering or you're listening to the music. You have to get yourself into an offensive mindset where you might have to hit somebody full blast in the face. This is a mental obstacle, a hurdle that you have to get over. You have to train your mind. Hopefully you never have to do that, but if you ever have to punch somebody full blast in the throat, you have to train for that. You have to understand that. You have to learn to be situationally aware. You always have to see where the danger may be and protect against that. Survival. You can't learn survival. I was lost in the desert of Australia for 3 days, and if I didn't know anything about survival, and granted, I made a lot of mistakes, but because of my military training and because of books I've read on survival, even though I made several terrible, terrible mistakes, I was able to survive. And had I had no background and no knowledge, I will admit my sword was not as sharp with my survival skills as it should have been. But camping and things like that are very important. You have to learn. You have to learn how to change tires. You have to learn how to keep your car maintained, how to pay bills, how to invest for the future. These things. Death can come at any time, according to this story, but not only death, any terrible situation. And it's later than you think. You never know. You don't have time to waste. And life is not fair. You may learn all these things and never have to use them, and I hope you don't have to use them, but if you're just going to be irresponsible all your life, it's not going to do it for you. So this harkens back to the ant and the grasshopper, and it also harkens back to another one that we did about I can't remember right now. It's on the tip of my brain. If I remember, I'll put it down. But death is like, this was not sprung on you. You're 100 years old. You've seen all your friends die. You've ignored all the signs. That's not good. You have to see the signs and prepare for what's happening. Anyway, that's all I can basically say. I'd like to also add that hoping has a shadow side. There's such a thing as too much hope. Sometimes you just have to say, yeah, hoping for the impossible is wasting your time and wasting everything. Sometimes you have to read the writing on the wall. Anyway, this is getting quite long. There's a lot more I could say about this, and I may come back to this one in the future. But until next time, goodbye. Love you.